Another of the charges levelled against Crowley is that he was once a German spy. It is true that he wrote for the German newspapers when he lived in New York during the First World War. He'd run out of money living in Manhattan. The beast, tongue as ever in his own cheek when it wasn't investigating someone else's, wrote deliberately wild propaganda for a pro-German magazine, even giving his aunt's suburban address out as a target for their bombing. If his aunt forgave him, we should. More than anything, Crowley was a victim of the rise of the popular newspapers. In the 1920s, when Crowley was living in Sicily, D.H. Lawrence, that other monster, was living over the other side of Etna from Old Crow. Lawrence, of course, had run off with a cousin of a German fight race. Like Crowley, he was not only sexually obsessed, but downright unpatriotic. They could have met, they didn't. But history can be rewritten in the movie. A walk-on part for Lawrence, foxy and hirsute, peering out at his shaven-headed rival from a post office queue in Cefalù, watching the swirl of Crowley's purple cape as he strides past like a cod Roman emperor in the sun. 3 snapshots of things which actually happened at that same time. Old Crow doing coke, writing potboilers at 5,000 words a day to keep his commune afloat. D.H. Lawrence's books, the subsequent staple of spotty teenagers, are being burnt by the public hangman. And Lawrence's nude self-portraits, the frontline, challenging Victorian values, are being seized from a London gallery. Today, Lawrence has long been rehabilitated as a voice of sanity in spite of his frequent silliness. But Old Crow, diabolical druggie, is still to return from outer darkness in the place of wailing and gnashing of tabloid molars. It was not in fact Beaverbrook and the British gutter press that finally destroyed the logos of the Eon's uneasy love nest. Benito Mussolini would brook no opposition and banned secret societies in Italy. Old Crow, who in his time had joined more Masonic lodges than he had trouser legs to roll, was given a week to leave. One of Crowley's guests, a brilliant mathematician, who had been in Crowley's thrall, had earlier died from enteritis. Crowley naturally was blamed in the papers for the death of a disciple and returned to England a public scoundrel, a position he deliberately misunderstood for fame. Crowleyanity's catchphrase was, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," a parody of St. Augustine's "Love and do what thou wilt." In 1904, Crowley had dictated to his wife a tract entitled The Book of the Law, which he subsequently came to believe was going to replace the Bible. Augustine was from Numibia and repented his excesses. Crowley was from Leamington in Warwickshire, and like Edith Piaf, regretted very little. There's wickedness for you. So, is AC a good thing? Astrology and the I Ching are just 2 of the Eastern esoterica, unheard of or unusual at the time, that he championed, and that are now in our commonwealth of knowledge. A self-consciously false messiah in the modern mode, he demanded, amidst the self-mockery, that we think for ourselves. More of the beast's purple prose is in print and on the lips of the young now than ever before. He would have said, "I told you so." However, it is Crowley's rival, the poet Yeats, whose verbal magic was soaked in Golden Dawn symbolism, who should have the last word. Yeats wrote, "Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape with a lion body and head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born." Penned in 1921, the lines have been taken as foreshadowing the West's collapse into fascism. They could also describe the beast, trying to live up to the impossible absolute of the bleak poetic marvel that was his vision and inspiration, as well as Yeats's. Life, not Satan, let Crowley down. Yeats is right, though. Today, love him or loathe him, the beast's hour is coming round at last. Drugs, sexual excess, anarchy and egotism, a true mirror for our times. The 1993 Oxford Dictionary of Quotations has finally embraced his catchphrase, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," and a movie of the beast is overdue. Love is the law, love under will.